Hi class, we are going to talk about the fundamentals of stocks. In French, stock is called fond, and fond is also the concentrated juices or drippings that you find when you sear meats in a sauté pan or you roast meats in the oven. All of that is delicious and good ingredients that you can add to stock to actually make a sauce if you wish. And sauces are made from stocks traditionally, not all sauces, but a lot of them. And sauces are used to enhance and never ever disguise the food that they're on the plate with. They should add moisture, flavor, richness, and actually be visually appealing. We have white stock, brown stock, fish fumet, and court bouillon. White stock is colorless liquid. It's made with chicken, veal, beef, or game bones if you wish, and vegetables as well as seasonings. And it has no color, very delicious. Brown stock is made with chicken, veal, beef, or game bones as well as vegetables. And those are all caramelized before they're put in the presence of water to add nice, rich color and body. Fish stock and fish fumet are both a white stock made with lean fish bones or crustacean shells. And the difference between fish stock and fish fumet is that fish fumet has acid added to it. So it has wine and also lemon juice. Court bouillon, very simply, is a vegetable stock. It has a little bit of acid in it, and it's used to poach delicate meats such as fish or vegetables. Now, body in stock is a really important quality that you need to have, and the body comes from collagen. So in the presence of water and heat, collagen unravels and turns into gelatin, which adds viscosity and body to your stock. The important ingredients in your stock need to be kept at the proper ratios in order to elicit the correct flavor. Stock also needs to be clear, meaning that we don't have a bunch of fat and impurities rolling around in it. It needs to be nice and clear. And also, the color of your stock is important. So a white stock should be colorless, basically. A brown stock should be nice and rich and caramelized. And again, this comes into play with all the ingredients and how you actually prepare your stocks. Now, the ingredients in stock with beef, veal bones, you want younger animals because they have a higher percentage of cartilage and connective tissue, and usually we use knuckle bones or shin bones for that. Also, because of the size of the animal, it takes a longer period of time of cooking to release the collagen and turn that into gelatin and the flavor profiles. With chicken bones, it takes a little shorter period of time because they're a smaller animal. The bone is more delicate. And we want to use bones that are high in connective tissue, so the neck bones or the back bones in chickens work wonderfully. You can use the whole carcass. It really isn't going to make that big of a difference. But if you can get chicken necks and backs, that's the best. And then fish bones, because they're so very delicate, again, we want to make sure that they're lean fish bones, so halibut bones or flounder bones are best. And you only have to cook those 30 to 45 minutes. They take a very short period of time. Crustacean shells as well, as far as crab, lobster, shrimp shells, all of those you can make fish stock out of, or fish fumet. Other ingredients that we use to make mirepoix that add to the aromatic, the flavor profile, the color, as well as the nutritional value is mirepoix. And mirepoix is French terminology. It's a ratio of 50% onion, 25% carrot, and 25% celery. When you're making brown stock, you don't need to peel your carrots or throw out your onion skins. Just make sure you've washed them and there's no stickers present. White mirepoix, if you were going to make a dish that called for white mirepoix or specifically, then you would get rid of the carrots and you would put mushroom trim, which is just the stems of mushrooms, leeks, and parsnips in with your stock. And then we have seasonings that we throw into our stocks. And this is all wrapped up into a bundle that's called sachet. Sachet means purse in French. And it usually has cracked peppercorns, bay leaf, thyme, parsley stems, and sometimes garlic. You can crush the garlic if you wish. That will release the natural oils if you want more of that aromatic and that layer of flavor profile in there. It's up to you completely. And many times the garlic is put in a brown stock. Now, we never add salt to stock because we're going to be simmering this for a long period of time potentially. And as you simmer, you have reduction. And if you season it to start with, it will reduce and that salt flavor profile will intensify and it will be way too much. So you always want to finish with salt for your final product before you actually put it on a plate. So usually we never ever season stock. And then the principles of making stock are very, very simple. When you first begin, sometimes it can feel a little confusing, but it's really simple. You want to start with cold water. You want to make sure that your bones are completely covered, and you want to bring your bones up to a boil. We don't want to start them in hot water because that's going to seal in everything. We're not going to be able to get all of the beautiful collagen and gelatin production that we need. So with white stock, you put your bones in cold water, bring them to a boil, reduce to a simmer, and you'll see that some scum will start to rise to the surface. You want to skim that off. And we don't want to allow our stock to rapidly boil because we want those impurities to rise to the surface so we can skim them off. With bones that you've roasted for brown stock, that brown stock, we're going to go ahead, roast the bones. Once they're nice and beautifully caramelized on all sides, we put them into a pot, we cover them with cold water, we bring them to a boil, reduce to a simmer, and again skim the scum. And both white and brown stock, once you have brought to a boil, reduced to a simmer, and skimmed your scum, then you can go ahead and add your mirepoix or your roasted mirepoix in the situation of brown stock. You're going to add your sachet and you allow it to simmer for the appropriate amount of time. And once it's simmered and it smells aromatic, it's beautifully flavored, then you're going to go ahead and shut it off. You want to strain carefully to not disturb all the impurities again. Remember, you're going to skim as much fat and scum as you can off the top. Usually that's done with a ladle or a spoon. And then you want to carefully ladle out your stock, and if you can, ladle it through a fine mesh strainer, or if you have a coffee filter or a cheesecloth, you can strain it through that, and then you want to cool it very quickly. So if you can put it into an ice bath, you really want to get it down to 70 degrees within 2 hours. And so you would put your container with your stock into your sink, plug the sink up, and then fill the sink up with ice around your container with stock, and then you fill up to the amount of stock that you have with cold water, and you come by and just stir it frequently until it cools down, and then you can refrigerate it. At home, I like to take my stock, and after I cooled it down, portion it into either gallon size or quart size Ziploc bags and then freeze it. And then it's really easy for me to pull out and utilize in with any ingredients that I'm making that would usually use water, such as rice or soup or beans or lentils, anything at all. So a little trick of the trade is that as you're going through your weeks of preparation of food, if you can save any trim that you have from your vegetables, you want to just keep them in a container in the cooler. And at the end of the week, throw them into a pot, cover them with cold water, simmer them for a half hour or however long. And if you have bones to add to it, add bones. If you, let's say you get a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store and you've got the carcass left, save that carcass and throw that in with that vegetable scrap that you saved through the week and simmer it for about an hour, 45 minutes, because it's a small amount, and voila, you have stock. It's just so easy to make, and you don't have to buy it from the grocery store. So I hope that you take some time and you do a little bit of experimenting with stock and enjoy.